as you guys saw in the last video, the motor on the MR2 went bye-bye.
Well, what'd you find, Mick?
We found a lot of metal. So there we go, look in there. In the creases.
Oh my God, look at all the glitter. This motor's done.
I'm gonna start taking everything out right now. I'm gonna start prepping. Mickey's on his way to give me a hand. We already covered this before. We don't wanna bore you guys with the same thing over and over. This video is gonna be a lot of time lapse, so just sit back and enjoy the show.
What'd you find, Mick?
Oh my God.
That was in the oil pan?
Yeah.
What is that?
And there's a lot of goodies in here actually, which is funny because when we drained the oil, obviously this stuff was too big to come out, and the oil filter did such a good job that we didn't really see much particulate in the oil that we drained. It was all in the filter. None of this stuff obviously made it that far because of the strainer. But yeah, this is definitely some catastrophic. But there's a heap of it in here. I should probably drain this through some cheesecloth or a rag. But there's some pretty gnarly big stuff that is never a good thing.
And I wanted to ask you guys, would you guys be interested in us tearing down the old 2GR that blew up? Would you guys like to see exactly what happened to the motor? I think we might do it, but I'm not sure if we're gonna film it. So please leave us a comment in the comment section below. Is that something that you'd be interested in seeing a whole video on? And we'll try to be as detailed as we can with that video. So let us know, and back to the engine install process. So it turns out the new 2GR that we got is a model that did not come factory with the oil cooler. Previous engine that we purchased had the factory oil cooler, and we basically removed that, installed the Wilhelm Raceworks oil cooler fitting, or the adapter plate, and then we run our aftermarket Hayden cooler. The new one did not, so what we actually have to do is remove the bottom. The intermediate pan here actually houses the oil filter. We're gonna take that off of the old motor, but what we're going to do is, before we put it in, we're going to clean it very thoroughly in the parts washer with all sorts of stuff, so there's no signs or shavings of any kind inside. So let's see.
You already took it out.
We already took the filter out of here. You still see the junk and the, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. So when you take off that intermediate pan, and obviously the lower oil pan is already removed, you really can't see a whole lot because you got this windage tray in the way. This really isn't the best angle, so maybe we'll put this on a stand and rotate it around, and then we'll be able to pop this off and really take a look. But I cannot believe some of the size of these chunks that Mickey found in the oil pan. Then there's just some massive pieces. Crazy, really, really crazy. So we'll go ahead and we'll pop this thing on an engine stand and we'll continue the teardown process.
One thing I like to use on the back of my oil coolers, and anything that typically is going to be hard mounted that probably should be isolated, I use the soft side of Velcro just to create a barrier so you don't have a metal on metal surface. Just a little trick, and it worked out really good on the first go around this, so I just went ahead and put some Velcro back on the back mounting pads of this. We'll go ahead and get the oil lines cleaned out and all the fittings cleaned up, and we'll be back in business. One thing I learned a long time ago is anytime you have a catastrophic engine failure and you find metal in your oil pan, it's always a good idea to start with a new oil cooler. A lot of people are okay with just cleaning these out and reusing them. I've seen way too many race teams actually reuse oil coolers and end up hurting a second and even third motor before switching to a new cooler. Even after hot tanking these to get them cleaned out or rinsing them out with brake parts, whatever you want to do, it's not adequate. Stuff gets stuck in here, you'll never get it out. These are cheap enough, and it's worth your engine's life to get a new one. So we're gonna go ahead and throw a new Hayden oil cooler in here for Brett. We'll get these lines remade up or cleaned out and back in, and this thing will be back in business. Motor's in, I got everything buttoned up, so now it's time to put all our fluids in. We've already put our 7 quarts of oil in. This motor actually takes 6.5 quarts. We added an extra half a quart for the oil cooler and lines to make sure that we're topped off. Made a quick little heat shield with some heat shield products here to keep some of the heat from the manifold off of our oil pan around the pickup area. And now we gotta add our peak coolant, transmission fluid, and then we can fire this up for the first time.
Now is the time to get this thing started. So Mickey and Ricky crushed the install process. I think, what, 24 hours or so, basically, to get this in. We just put all the fluids in, just bled the clutch. What we're going to do, we just pulled the ECU fuse so that the car will crank but not actually start. We just want to basically prime the whole system, make sure there's no leaks, double check everything, and then we'll go ahead and we'll put the fuse back in and hopefully start the car for the first time. Cross your fingers, here we go. All right, so we just cranked her over, checked for leaks. Everything looks good, so we're gonna go ahead and fire it up for the first time. good?
Yeah, everything sounds good. It's still idling a little high because we had the battery disconnected, the ECU disconnected. It's learning everything right now, so the idle will slowly come down after it warms up. We got coolant bleeding. Our squeak went away. That was from a little bit of coolant that got on the belt while we were topping it up. So got that, some belt dressing on the belt, got the squeak to stop. Engine sounds really nice.
Yeah.
No ticking from the valve lifters.
First try. Clutch feels great. So far it feels good. Clutch feels good. Shifter feels good. So we had the whole rear end, so we're gonna have to go get an alignment tomorrow before the tow truck comes. But coolant temp seems good. Throttle response seems fine. Everything seems as it was before.
Minutes later.
This car sounds so good. May want to go on that same pass, but let's see what Mickey thinks.
The full send Brett pass.
Yeah. Mickey, it seems good. I mean, I didn't really get on it too bad. Should I take the full send Brett pass?
Yeah, go drive it.
Okay, we're pulling up to full send Brett mode. Little juice. This thing shot a fireball. It's got a little rev hang. I'm not sure if that's with the ECU or what, but man, feels strong to me. This car is so sick, Brett. You are going to love this thing. The flywheel is so light, it's just so fast. Any noises? Silent. Sounds good. Temps are good. Battery voltage is good. I heard it pop a little fireball again, which is pretty sick. Wish we were able to catch that on camera. So,
Oh, Type R.
hey.
Those are cool.
This thing is fast. Wow.
She rips.
It almost feels like it's stronger than the other motor. Maybe it's just the butt dyno talking, but man, it sounds good. It feels good. Gonna miss this car. Brakes, I'm like barely touching the brakes. This thing stops on a dime. All right, guys, there you have it. We've got the new 2GR in. It feels really, really good. It's hard to compare, but I would say that it feels healthier, stronger. Overall, obviously the process was very unfortunate for Brett, but we're obviously very happy that we're able to get it straightened out for him. And I know he's got some big plans for the car. So definitely stay tuned to his Instagram. We'll pop it up on the screen if you want to follow along with the build after it leaves the throtl shop here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, all the comments, the likes, and all that stuff. Remember, we're giving away a 2008 STI next. It's coming back from SOS Customs, I think this week, which is pretty exciting. So thank you guys so much. Peace out, and we'll see you in the next episode.